Here's our final fingering video on 4 fingers. This will give you your last set of finger gestures. 4 fingers is less used, so there are less of them, fortunately. And you can use 4 fingers in a couple of ways. So a single 4-finger tap, depending on where it is on the screen, will move you to the top or bottom of the screen. So if you're on the very top item of an app and you want to go to somewhere near the bottom, you can press a 4-finger tap on the bottom of the screen and it will jump the cursor straight to the end of that app's view. And then of course you can flick left rather than right. So if the thing you want to get to is closer to the bottom than the top, this is a quick way of doing it. A 4-finger single tap at the top of the screen will move you to the first item on the screen rather than the last. Bear in mind that the first item on the screen is not necessarily the first item in the scrollable area. So let's imagine that you're in the text messaging app, messages, and you're in the middle of a long chat with somebody. If you tap your 4 fingers at the top of the screen, you'll be put on the back button, which lets you get out of that conversation. You won't be scrolled to the very top of the thread of conversations immediately, because the screen, the middle part of the screen, changes to reflect the information you are looking at any given time, but there are also static elements on the screen that don't change. So very often with these top and bottom gestures, you'll end up on the part of the screen that stays the same, the buttons and tabs and things that tend to be around the dynamic areas. So 4-finger single tap at the top or bottom moves you to the first or last item on the screen. It's also sometimes quite a useful way of getting out of something. If you're in something that scrolls on forever, like a list of hundreds of messages, then you can use this gesture to get out of it if needs be, especially if you're not sure what is around, just to do a touch on as well. A 4-finger double tap, it activates the help mode, and this mode is where touching the screen will tell you what will happen rather than making it happen, a bit like the keyboard learning mode in screen readers on computers. So that will turn on the help, and then you can touch and flick and do everything else, and it will describe the actions to you rather than performing them. And you can exit by doing a 4-finger double tap as well. And then finally we have a flick left and right, and this is a way of moving between apps that you've been in. So if you open up an app, let's say you open Mail and you're reading a mail, and then you go to your calendar app and you want to check an appointment, you can use a 4-finger flick right to go back to Mail, back to the app you came from. And a 4-finger flick to the left will take you back from Mail, back to the app you came from, the other direction, back to the calendar. So I do get confused if I've got more than 2 apps on the go sometimes, but it's a very quick way of getting between 2 open apps that you've been using if you need to hop between them. And that's a 4-finger flick left